very enthusiastic. I see a lot of celebrities and stars in the audience in your own right in Honolulu. My name is Dita Hollyfield. I am the Director of Enterprise Services, and boy, do we have some big news for you guys today. We are so excited to talk about our Broadway season. Not one show, not two shows, but 3 shows are coming to Honolulu. After taking much needed time for the concert hall, it is in motion over the next 5 years. The first phase, which is not sexy on any level, is going to be slated to be completed in March of 25, and we will be able to open up our season at that point. We did the roof, we did some of the bathrooms in the back, we did electrical, all the things that are needed to bring in and service first-class entertainment, including Broadway. I want to take a moment at this point to really thank our partners and our friend Haku and all of the gentlemen and women that work for DDC, and thank you so much for doing such a great job, coming in on time, coming in on budget. Can we please acknowledge the people from DDC today? Alan, John, the whole gang's here. Thank you, Haku. Well, we've got a lineup today that you are just not going to believe. I want to say a big mahalo also. All of our whole team from the Department of Enterprise Services, we dedicated our only one purple outfit that we all have in our closets just for you today in solidarity. Our team has been working with everyone at MagicSpace Entertainment to lay the groundwork for a really, really great season. None of this would be possible without our favorite supporter. Ladies and gentlemen, how about a round of applause for Mayor Rick Blangiardi?
Thank you. I think it's only fitting that I would come to this and they would give me a script, but I actually don't need a script here. I really would. I actually probably need a cheerleader outfit this morning because this stuff really excites me. And I want to thank Bruce Graniff from MagicSpace and Kevin McCollum, who you're going to meet from Broadway, Hawaii. But look, I've talked about this before. You know, so much of what we deal with at the city is fixing problems, solving problems, but looking for opportunities to improve the quality of life. This is about as good as it gets from a theatrical standpoint because so many of the people that we know who really benefit from past history, they're able to see these plays, who don't have the wherewithal necessarily to travel to go see them in other great cities in the world, when we can bring them here, right here to Honolulu, and have the all-star cast that we have, and do this. It's just so good for our community. This is just good business. It just is a feel-good. So I'm indebted, Dita, thank you for whatever role and every bit you played in this. You're going to hear from Bruce and Kevin. I don't want to take any thunder away from them, but this is good for our city, and I'm very humble and very grateful. I'm very excited for the people here to have an opportunity. You know, I live across the street, and I get to look over here every night when it's showtime. And you see the crowds of people. You can feel it. It's palpable. Sometimes even driving by, the energy that this creates and the excitement. So this is just a good thing. I'm really, again, very pleased, very honored. Way to go, everybody. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Mayor. One of the things that I think we are also the most excited about is just the fact that we live all the way out here. My family just moved to Florida. It feels like a day and a half, and I have to take a loan to go out and see them and visit them for 10 days. So the thing that I love the most is we are bringing Broadway to Hawaii. People that have never experienced Broadway can come and stay and enjoy. People that live outer island can do a staycation and they can experience Waikiki and the hotels and all the things that have to offer with entertainment like Broadway. And then, of course, we have our visitor industry. Many people will have a chance on the West Coast and who knows in the Asian markets to travel to Hawaii to experience Broadway instead of going all the way to New York. So all of this is really big news and very exciting. And I just want to thank my friend Bruce. Bruce and I, when we first met, we just hit it off. I'm a former theater nerd as well, and it was exciting to be a part of something so very grand. I want to introduce my friend Bruce, MagicSpace Entertainment. You've been presenting for 30 years, and your commitment level to continue to bring out world-class entertainment. 2 of the shows announced today have never been to Hawaii. And so these are running on Broadway currently. You're going to get to see world-class entertainment. We are thrilled if we can work together again to bring Broadway back. How about a round of applause for Bruce?
You know, thanks to Dita and the mayor, I don't think that we have ever had cheerleaders like this in your role in any market. So I was asking the mayor if he would go on tour with us to do these anywhere that we can. Honestly, it's such a pleasure. I'm so pleased to be here with John Ballard and Chris Olenicki on behalf of everybody from MagicSpace Entertainment to be part of this kickoff event today. The relationship between MagicSpace Entertainment and the City and County of Honolulu and Blaisdell Concert Hall goes back more than 2 decades. And thanks to the longstanding cooperative effort, we've been able to bring the very best Broadway musicals to hundreds of thousands of people here in Honolulu. These shows not only entertain and inspire, they also have a considerable economic impact. Phantom of the Opera 2019 had an economic impact of estimated at $15 million. Thanks to our season ticket holders, we were able to support theater programs in 25 different local schools and have students participate in a workshop with Hamilton. And of course, most importantly, the impact on the quality of life in any community with live theater is simply priceless. So we just want to thank everybody at Blaisdell Concert Hall, behind the scenes, in the box office, backstage, and around the campus for everything they've done to make this possible. We want to thank Tua Scanlon and the 665 for providing all of the professional quality services that are absolutely necessary to bring the very best Broadway musicals here to Hawaii. And we want to thank Alaska Airlines for once again being our name and title season sponsor. So thanks to everybody involved, we are very proud to announce the 2025 Broadway series. Tickets are going to go on sale at noon, and for as little as about $200, you can have the same great seats to see 3 shows. The electrifying and inspiring Tina, the Tina Turner musical, Chicago, which is the 2nd longest running Broadway musical in history, and the new musical, which was most requested by our season ticket holders in a survey by a wide margin, Six. And here to tell us about Six is a Tony Award-winning producer who's come home to Honolulu from New York, where he has 3 different shows simultaneously running on Broadway, Kevin McCullum.
Aloha. This is surreal in many, many ways, and it is also a very emotional day for me. Having been born in 1962 at Queens Hospital, and having grown up in Hawaii, my mother worked for KGMB TV. Those of you who knew the Voice of Liberty House in the late 60s all through the mid 70s, she passed away in 76. She was the voice of Liberty House. And we also did shows at the time HCT, which is now Diamond Head Theater. And I grew up around print and television. And yet, going to Punahou, we were always doing a show. We were always singing in choir. Some of you might remember my performance in The Hobbit in 7th grade. Thank you. I did not get cast as the lead. That was my friend Matt Forster. I saw him yesterday. I'm still angry. But I bring this up because I wouldn't be able to come home and talk about the importance of the live arts unless I grew up in a community that valued the live arts and valued storytelling. Some of the first things that I got excited about is after class when we'd learn about Madame Pele, we'd then put on a play and decide, you know, who would be angry at who for doing something wrong and taking lava rocks and things like that. So the myth and the stories really in a culture that comes from the Hawaiian culture and then grown into what became, in my experience, having then immediately gone to Illinois to a very good public school. But the year I went in 1976, in that public school, there was a referendum to not raise the taxes so that there could be more arts. They were going to cut back just to sports because that school had just won the football championship in 1975. And luckily that community said, no, we need to fund young minds in the arts, and we need to have music and dance and storytelling as well as sports. And that combination builds a great community. And you are so lucky to have your mayor, and I got to speak to the cabinet and got to speak to some leaders today, and just the ethic of arts and sports together is a great combination in young minds, so that shows like this and talent can be born in communities like this. I've met so many people from Hawaii who are actually performing in New York or on tour or in regional, and we will have stories about growing up here and the ethic of, it was cool to dance, it was cool to sing. When I went to Deerfield High School at that time, it's now flourishing in the arts, but at that time, it was the most uncool thing you could do. But the good news is things like, which started with Star Search and other television programs that got into homes that reminded people, it's cool to sing, it's cool to express yourself. We can't just be in sports model. We have to be in an arts model where it's collaboration and storytelling. That's how we build all our communities. And it is so special to me to be able to be part of musicals in my life, where basically most great musicals start on the earth and in the heavens and are about finding your family against all odds. All these shows have that. Every successful show, Rent had it, Avenue Q, In the Heights, all my shows have that. And it comes from the fact that when people show up in real time and they come in as strangers, as an audience, they leave connected, because it's about coming into a dark room, reflecting your life through the live arts of singing, because we sang before we spoke as creatures. There is something in our brains that just attaches us in a way that film and television, and I love film and television as well, but there's nothing like getting young people into the theater. And these three shows, I've seen them all. Obviously, I've seen 6 many, many times around the world. And it just does something to build community in a way that I don't think we fully appreciate. But this city does appreciate it, and the fact that Broadway is back in a series. Last time I was here was 2000 with a show I did called Rent. I think Mary was here running the building at the time. Nice to see you again. And the wonderful thing is Broadway is the longest street in America, and as long as there's a series in Hawaii, you make that even longer. It's the longest it can be. And that is super exciting for young people and also older people to really, really bring their families and come to the live arts, because theater is an economic, and social octopus. It's not just the show. It's the restaurants. It's the idea of talking to your neighbors, having something to do together. And that's what these three shows represent. So let me just talk a little bit about Six. Six is a musical born from the friendship of two people who were going to college together. Toby and Lucy, who wrote it, they had a project, like they had to turn something in and said, let's do something about the wives of Henry VIII. And through that friendship and the idea that they were 21 at the time, similar to Jonathan Larson when he wrote Rent, he had a musical vocabulary of youth in his head, and he needed to tell a story in the musical vocabulary he knew. It's exactly what Toby and Lucy did in London. And those of us in America who don't grow up with Tudor history, they wrote it in a way where contemporary voices reflecting what was 500 years ago actually connects us to what is happening in our culture today. Because at that time, women had no power. and the government was such that you could be beheaded. And so to take that idea and make it an entertaining and also surprising show about what happens when we don't respect everyone, every gender, everybody who has a point of view, how to use your voice to affect change. And that's the great secret about Six, but the secret's out of the bag, which is that, yes, it's in a concert format, so it feels like something that young people would go to, and yet those of us who are a lot older, who understand and seen many, many shows, you understand the subversive complexity of really it's a story about how we all must listen to each other and how we all must come together as a family. So I'm really excited to bring that show here. It is a show that has been just hailed around the world, and to bring it to Hawaii, which also comes obviously from a culture of a kingdom and the idea of how it took care of its people. Really, you'll find a lot of harmonics, metaphorically and literally, into where we are today, how women's rights are under some pressure, terrible pressure, and we have to just, everybody has to use their voice to tell the story about building their family against all odds. So it's real treat. I know we're going to do some questions and answers and a little later individually, but right now, why don't we just roll some tape and I'll show you what we're talking about with 6. There's 6. Finally, I just want to say, truly growing up here taught me how to be a storyteller and to realize it's about the people. And a bottom line is how you gather people and create a sense of safety, and that's how you create economies. So I'm really just grateful that not only having been born here and learned how to tell stories, that I have the fortunate, just sort of wonderful experience to come back and having you hear my story, to celebrate it with you. And I will be here in June, and we are going to have a great time. Thank you for having me today. Thank you, MagicSpace. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Dita. Force of nature, ladies and gentlemen, right here. So thank you very much. Enjoy your day.